I was given an anonymous complaint about 25 dogs being neglected. When I first got to the residence, I tried to make contact, and I didn't make contact, but I did hear a large amount of dogs barking. So as I approached the residence to the left, after I didn't make contact...
When you say contact with who?
With the dog owner,
okay.
Mrs. Skillman.
All right.
I looked and I first seen this overhang that had garbage and just different things around this carport, and there was several puppies in there and a large dog in a crate that was locked in the crate in its own feces that I could see. And I thought, well, this needs more further investigation, because I kind of seen that that environment didn't appear to me to be very sanitary. So I kept hearing dogs barking, so I walked around to the east side of the house. But when I got to the east side of the house, I had saw approximately 9 dogs in mud and water, and they were up to their ankles in it. And when I looked at those animals, I saw one that was in a pen that had just water and mud and feces in it, and there was a large bowl that the dog could only stand on to get out of the water and feces. And so I says, well, I'm going to contact other officers. So I went back to my truck and I called the deputy director.
Exhibit 2. What's in that photograph, sir?
There's 3 dogs in that, and you could also see the kennel is disarrayed. That's going to also be at the east side of the house, the same kennel, just going to be in a different pen.
Exhibit 3, I'm sure putting on the yellow. Sir, what is this photograph of? Can you describe that as you observe it?
Yeah, that's going to be when I went around the lean-to, is where the dog was kept in the pen with the puppies. You know, when I first went to the house and I seen this carport, and that was the shelter for the puppies as far as I knew, where you could see how dirty it is inside those kennels.
Okay. This area right here, what is this material right here?
Wood chips.
Okay, was there anything else within the wood chips?
No.
Okay.
There were some people there. It was mostly inside those houses.
Exhibit 4.
Okay, when I went around to the east side of the house, I could see this dog on that windowsill, and it would jump out of the windowsill, and then it would jump back on it to stay out of the muddy water and the fecal matter. Now, that's a building that is connected to her residence, and there was other dogs inside there. So between jumping out of that window to get out of it from within the building, it would jump, back into this pen, and then it would try to stay on the sill to stay out of the fecal and the water. And you could see its paw prints right there, or the mud that's dripping from its body. I mean, it was atrocious to me when I saw that dog like that. I just felt sorry for that poor animal. It was a truck topper. And when I came around, there was 5 or 6 dogs underneath this, because there was really no other dry place to get out of the mud. The water, the overturned bowl that it had to stand on in order to get into a dry place. In fact, inside of the doghouse was full of water and feces, so it could not even go in the doghouse.
Is there any other place that dog could have gone in that area?
No, it was in its pen.
It was fenced in?
It was fenced in its pen. Well, there's a carport that is beside the house, and then as you come around, those pens were here on the side of the residence.
And how many total animals were at the property?
There was 70.
Can you show the jury for this diagram, where are all the dogs
I seen those dogs, I mean, I did this job for a long time, for 23 years, and I've dealt with a lot of cruelty and other cases, and when I saw those dogs, they looked to be in peril in my experience and investigational skills.
Explain to the jury what you mean by in peril,
those,
and what you, under your observations.
those dogs were out there in the pens, and they couldn't get out of the muddy water or the fecal matter, and they needed somebody to aid them. And that really needed, that needed to happen right away. You can't wait on something that if you know it's raining, you need to say, what about my animals?
Right.
I mean, I would think that.
Okay.
She told me that, you know, it recently had rained a few days before, and that she wasn't able to get to the kennels, and that it actually got out of control, taking care of the dogs. And she kept telling me over and over again that it got out of control, that there was just too many animals to take care of, and that's why it was in a raid.